What's going on, Metropolitans? Today, a new rumor has tied Rangers pitcher Jeff Hoffman to the squad. We'll break that down and see if that were the case. How will he fit in on the squad? What is going on, everybody? My name is Flobo Boyce, and you are locked into Mets Digest, your one-stop shop for Mets content all over the planet, all over the globe. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Myself, alongside Mike D'Angelo, work tirelessly to give you the things that are super important to you. But before we get into today's news, you know the deal. If you're watching this right now and you want to help out the channel, make sure you subscribe, like the video, share it with a friend. And of course, if you are watching the video and you're like, this isn't my thing, let me know in the comments below. I kind of read all comments to make sure where the vibes are to give you the best possible experience. But enough of that. As I record this, it's nighttime. The World Series Game 1 has just wrapped up and the Mets aren't in it. So I'm not really enjoying it. But that said, we do have a rumor that may impact the Mets in 2025. I mentioned the World Series because the season is still going on. So none of these rumors or none of these reports can actually be acted upon. You can't make trades while the season is still in progress, right? But a couple days ago, what came across my desk gave me a little bit of pause I want to share with you where it comes to a Phillies relief pitcher, Jeff Hoffman. So some backstory. So at the end of every season, all the GMs and presidents of baseball operations, depending on the franchise, usually sit down with the media. They give a statement. They say what worked, what didn't for them, and what their plan is going to be. And The Athletic, which is a news outlet I subscribe to, really was on the ground making sure we get these statements for all these GMs. So the president of baseball operations, Dave Dombrowski of the Philadelphia Phillies, had some questions he had to answer about what was going to be the roster construction for the Phillies next season. So I want to put this up first as a bit of a preamble. For the second straight October, Dombrowski declined to hand Johan Rojas a starting job in the outfield and expressed confidence in Brandon Marsh emerging as an everyday player. He admitted it's not likely the Phillies will re-sign both Jeff Hoffman and Carlos Estevez, their two biggest impending free agents. The Phillies have a lot of things on their plate. Red October did not work for them. I'm sure you guys realize that. And so they have some hard questions they have to ask. And of course, usually hard questions comes with a payroll slashing, right? So today, a little bit of a kind of roundabout way, Manny Gomez from NewJersey.com or NJ.com reported or maybe predicted that the Mets would inquire or acquire Jeff Hoffman. I actually came across the reporting from the Sporting News. So thanks to Sporting News for me coming across it, but also shout out to Manny Gomez from NJ.com who mentioned this. Hoffman has increased the use of his four-seam fastball and began throwing a sinker, a staple for Stearns Mets in 2023. Also true. Sinkers and fork balls and just making things out of the strike zone to increase chases always seems to be part of the Hefner du jour. He has a strikeout ability, but isn't afraid to pitch to contact, which the Mets account for with an up-the-middle defense. Let's be real. Whether it is Lindor or McNeil or Luis Angel Acuna or Jose Iglesias, up the middle defense is pretty strong. The 31-year-old right-hander will pair well with Diaz at the back of the bullpen. Super important. We say that it will pair with Diaz at the back of the bullpen, shortening games for the Mets. Prediction: Hoffman signs a 2-year, $12.5 million deal with the Mets. A lot of things to unpack here. In fact, I'm going to put this on just the other side real quick. A lot of things to unpack here. So some things I like. The sinker definitely plays, something that plays into our hands. The up-the-middle defense working is pretty strong. But the pairing with Diaz and the $12.5 million deal over 2 years, the prediction is interesting. Look, Hoffman has done fantastic work for the Phillies. In fact, the only reason why he's not even in the equation is because the Phillies have options. Now they have options in their bullpen with Estevez. And so, of course, it's going to be way out here. But there's a little bit of a disparity about how much Hoffman is actually worth. I mean, that's super important to really drill down because if the Mets are going to pick up somebody, they don't want to overpay for someone who's a little bit older. So at the age 31 season, it's also important. He's an older player by baseball metrics. He's pretty much had a career year. Look at that ERA. It's nice. It's crispy. And that FIP is about less than 3. Also good stuff, and also being a relief pitcher who has kind of bounced around the league quite a bit, being able to go into a place with that, again, mythical pitching lab can only give us a bit of a benefit. But yes, the ERA is low, and that FIP is pretty low as well. Something to think about if we want to go shopping. But the thing I want to put out there is the money situation. As it stands right now, it's a bargain over for Philadelphia. They've paid. Actually, I'll put his money up here. It's kind of a tight image, but I'll put it here. Probably can't see that there, but on the fourth line down, he's made about 2.5 milli this year as a relief pitcher. And you're probably saying, okay, well, he's not going to make that money. He's actually going to make more. I'm not sure. 2 years, 12.5, it's really where it's going to be. In fact, Jim Bowden, who has experiences in the front office, projects elsewise. He also projects 3 years, 27 million. That's a 9 million AAV. So we're thinking anywhere between 6.5 and 9 million a year for a relief pitcher. But I would say this is actually two counterpoints I want you to consider. Shout out to those over at Sport Track for the numbers. Adam Ottavino, who is a person that usually will back up Edwin Diaz, the role that will be replaced, is making 4.5 million, or made 4.5 million in 2024. That also comes off the books. So getting someone for about 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 million a year doesn't seem that beyond the pale. And on top of that, it's about shortening the games behind Edwin Diaz. Something we realized towards the end stretch of the 2024 season was the proverbial circle of trust. Who do we trust behind Edwin Diaz? In fact, there were some points this year we didn't trust Edwin himself. But, there was Eddie Nunez for a long time, but then he got hurt. And then it was Drew Smith for a while, but then he got hurt. But definitely someone who was supposed to be the long man, or even the setup man, was Adam Ottavino. And Adam didn't really have it. In fact, as the season went on, he was used for less and less high leverage spot. We didn't really have a high leverage person. It was kind of like this game of roulette, really until the playoffs, where Stanek kind of stepped up, and we even had Phil Maton fade out during the same time. So that's a bunch of questions. We talk about the need for pitching, and yes, I'm sure we'll have enough Corbin Burns content over the offseason to make your head spin, but this might be a pretty good deal for the New York Mets. Now, in all fairness, that same article from Jim Bowden does not really list the Mets as a potential landing spot. In fact, he mentions the Phillies, the Orioles, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Royals, and the Giants. These are all teams that are trying to build, which is a good sign. There's no one out there that's going to see as a decline. But I would think if the Phillies were to resign them, it would be very, very, very rare. So that's off the books. The Orioles, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Royals, and the Giants, or a good market. Manny Gomez at NJ says the Mets have an opportunity. So I asked you this question. If Jeff Hoffman was on the market between 6 and 9 million AAV, whether it's 1 year or 2 year or 3 years, because I know David Scherzer is doing conservative, do you think not only would it be a good pickup, but would it slot in to our existing bullpen and be an improvement? That's the $1 million question, or the $6 million question. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I am curious to think of what you say. Imagine Jeff Hoffman being able to shorten those games so we don't have to have so many bullpen games or exhaust the bullpen during the regular season. Probably worth his weight in gold. And of course, the man wants to get paid as well. You reached the end of the video. Again, thank you so much for watching this. I do read your comments. It means the world. Put what you feel, positive, negative, anything in between. I'm here for you. My name is Flobo Boyce, and this is Mets Digest. And as always, it's LJM to the bitter end.